Well, let's bring in political strategist Fred Hicks, who's joining us live from Atlanta, Georgia. Fred, thanks for coming on the show. Now, you have a company that specializes in running candidate campaigns. How would you evaluate Trump's speech then? Was it good for his campaign?
Well, I think we have to evaluate it through the lens of understanding where he is in terms of the election. He entered the Republicans entered this week with a lead in the Electoral College, and it looks like they've only really solidified that by securing their base. And so, while Trump delivered the longest televised speech ever in American history, he did so really in an effort to solidify his base and to try to reach into a few other areas so that the November election really is not even close. And that's his goal. And he talked about this. He doesn't want it to be close. He doesn't want there to be any room for error. And right now, based on the polling, he's doing quite well. And he spoke like a person who expects to win in November.
Some have said that this speech appealed to his base, but did little to win over new voters and continued to be overly vague and populist in terms of policy. So what do you agree? And what does Trump need to do to appeal to those outside of his hardcore supporters, swing voters, for example?
Well, Donald Trump has never really tried to expand his reach. He won the Republican primary in 2016 by holding down and locking in his base, and his base was larger than everyone else's, although it was far from a majority. And then he won the election in 2020, or 2016 rather, by holding on to his base and people, that is Democrats, feeling disaffected or unhappy with Hillary Clinton. Now, that came back to bite him in 2020 because he was not able to hold on to his base or to grow his support beyond his base, and Joe Biden was able to win. But now what we have in 2024 is you have a number of Democrats from across sections, whether you're talking about women or you're talking about minorities or you're talking about laborers who are saying they're not going to vote. And so since Donald Trump is holding on to his core group and Democrats are struggling to get their voters back out, he doesn't really feel the need to expand his base because that base has served him well and really 3 of his 4 elections. And so he's doing what he feels like he needs to do. Now it's going to be incumbent upon the Democrats to find a way to motivate their voters to come out and vote because it's really only about who shows up to vote. And right now, Democratic voters are saying, I'm not going to vote.
And what about the numerous allegations against Donald Trump and the now convictions that he has? Has that swayed voters at all, or has it made no impact?
So it has just solidified its support with his base. They view him as being a victim of persecution, almost in a religious kind of way. And he talked about being shot in religious terms. And honestly, there's a bit of a messianic sort of aura around him with his supporters. And so with people who do not support Donald Trump, it didn't make them decide to come out and vote because they're feeling like right now that, well, Donald Trump has been convicted of felonies and he has his issues over there, but that Democrats are not speaking to my issues because the standard bearer is just simply too old. And that is why there's such a major push right now within the Democratic Party to ask President Biden to step aside as candidate Biden and let someone else run. Because based on the polling, it looks like Americans are okay with the policies of Democrats, but they're not okay with the messenger right now.
Okay, so all eyes on the Democrat Party. Thank you so much, Fred Hicks, for coming on TRT World.
Thank you for having me.